Very hard to follow Yuri, but we will try to do our best. Very hard to follow United Rescue as well. I wish you all the luck, and at least no one will die in this room today, right? Hopefully, we'll see in a few hours. Listen, I'm not the best person to welcome the guests. I think the best thing to do is please all my lovely guests, Kyriakos, Olga, Panis, Frixos, come on stage, have a seat, and let's take it from there. What are we doing today? This panel is sponsored by my podcast, which is called Made in Cyprus. And if you're in the room today, you will like the podcast, because the podcast has the purpose to change the narrative of Cyprus beyond halloumi, beyond hospitality, beyond sheftali, which is all amazing things, but we have lots of amazing people. We just saw one of them on the stage doing incredible things, and yet we talk always about the same shit. So the purpose of the podcast was to give a voice to the people that are building Cyprus, that are changing the narrative about Cyprus, and most importantly, to reposition Cyprus globally as a brand, beyond the usual topics and beyond the golden passports and everything. So we have a very good lineup of speakers. We will try to make it as less boring as possible, which is always a challenge with a panel. I appreciate that. You are allowed to stop us, raise your hand, ask a question, come to the stage, steal the mic. This is not our glorious 15 seconds of fame on the stage. It's your time to actually take home something that is useful for you. So please do ask questions and do interrupt us. 30 seconds, each one of you, ladies first. Who are you? What do you do? 3 things you love about Cyprus, 3 things you do not like about Cyprus.
I'm Olga, I'm VP of HR at BrainRocket. Welcome to our space. And 3 things that I like about Cyprus, right? First of all, I really like the local community. This is what I believe in. So then, again, of course, I like the weather during the winter time. And I like, what I like at, what else? So, and I like to be the part of this Cyprus tech community as well.
Yeah.
So what I don't like about Cyprus, weather during the summertime, I think most of the people don't like. So sometimes not so many direct flights to the convenient connections, and it's difficult to imagine. Pedestrians. So if you don't have car, and then unfortunately we are not likely to have a developed public transport here.
There are no pedestrians because everything for pedestrian is a parking.
Yes, unfortunately.
That's the first rule.
That's it.
Kyriakos?
Hi, so I'm Kyriakos. I'm actually a pedestrian. I live in the center of Nicosia.
How do you survive?
It's a miracle. So yeah, maybe I'll need support at some point. But in Cyprus, I like a lot. Okay, it's classic, the weather, the food. It's actually very easy to connect with people. So it's something that is good for an entrepreneur. And it's easy to get your story to the right ears, let's say. What I don't like about Cyprus is some things take a lot of time and some things don't take a lot of time, which is a problem a lot of times. Yeah, there are not a lot of things I don't like about Cyprus, to be honest. That's why I'm here.
Brilliant. Frixos?
Hey everybody, Frixos. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Crowdbase. We are an investment-based crowdfunding platform enabling anybody to invest in startups, or local startups. So what do I like and not like? I'm going to reflect a little bit on what everybody else said. So number 1, the lifestyle. I think everybody loves that. The energy of the people, as is evident from this event that we're over here right now, and the diversity of the culture that we have built, especially in this ecosystem in Cyprus. We have people from all over the region, all based here, working together, and that's amazing. That's how you create amazing results. Now, what I wouldn't say hate, but definitely don't like, the banks and their compliance. I think everybody can...
Shot fired.
Yes. And this one is not directed to my friend Kyriakos over here, but the complacency of the public sector in many ways. Not
Second shot fired.
I have to, we have to get them out.
I'm worried about number 3 now.
No, the number 3 is that although we have all these communities together, it still feels a little bit segregated between the locals and the expats. And I would love to bring them closer together, which is exactly what this
we
event
can go
is
into
doing.
that as well, because one of the most interesting things that I noticed in my 7-8 years of Cyprus is that like we have a very strong village mentality, and what that means that like Larnaca is Larnaca, Nicosia is Nicosia, Limassol is Limassol, but it's such a small country. Why are we like, we have countries in a country, we have islands in an island, which we can go all over it, because everyone is nodding. We can go into that. Panis?
Hi. Many thanks again for inviting me. Last year I moderated a panel. Okay, I'm a tech journalist, a startup journalist for the last maybe 10 years around. I started monitoring this event from the first Hack Cyprus in 2011. I attended the Startup Lives, Startup Weekends that we did in 2013. And until now, I'm writing about stories about startups, etc. What I love about the Cypriot people, anyhow, people that they live in Cyprus, because even expats now, after 1 year in Cyprus, they follow the rules of Cypriots.
If they can do souvla, they are local.
So I love the people, I like to meet people, I love the beaches and the hospitality of all these people. I believe these are the 3 key elements for Cypriot, the plus ones. The bad ones, I hate corruption. I think everything that a lot of people mentioned before me comes from the corruption that we have, especially in government, in banking, and other areas. I hate that Cyprus don't have green places inside the cities. Of course, you can move to the mountains, 20 minutes, you can find green places.
Yeah.
It's easy if you can find it in like 1 minute in your neighborhood. The public transport is, okay, I don't want to. And another thing that I'm contributing also to change is about undermining women in business and in life.
Yeah.
That's something I hate, and that's something I also did initiatives.
Which we have a panel as well for
I did
later
also
on.
a lot of, I help and support a lot of initiatives on that part.
Brilliant.
That's it.
Panis, since you have the mic,
Okay.
is Cyprus a startup hub or just a good place for taxes and playground for rich people?
Okay, the truth is somewhere in the middle. The tech industry is growing. It's there, the numbers, over 10% of the GDP. Just to clarify here for people that they might not understand or is not clear, the startup industry is part of the IT and tech. Is not the whole, the startup industry is not the whole tech industry. So whatever I'm going to discuss and point until I finish this question is about the startup scene, not the tech scene per se and the IT scene. The somewhere is in the middle. We're following. We have international expats companies coming here. We follow a bit us in Dublin. We have the smallest IP regime, 2.5%. So that's our key point when we go outside to speak with, especially in the old days that we didn't have, that the ecosystem was not mature enough as it is now. Our main point was, okay, come to Cyprus and bring and get 2.5 on your IP, etc. Something else is that the huge growth of expats that I welcome, of course, but it created a lot of our infrastructure the last 3 years. The Cyprus infrastructure was not
ready for such a big boom.
Wasn't ready for this acceleration that happened. And this creates also societal problems. And very quick, just to mention like some bullet points in things that we need to improve. Come Startup Hub. First, we need the university spin-off to take place. Actually, in July, they will start a conversation in the parliament about that. All these universities that have created at least for me 100 spin-offs per year. I know maybe it's an ambition, but that will give actually a boost in this hub. We need more collaborations with Y Combinator, Techstars. Maybe we can convince them to bring their regional early stage programs here for some industries.
Yeah.
We need to focus gaming and Fintech more on these industries, that we actually have also unicorns in these industries. We'll discuss this later maybe. And solve ecosystem fragmentation problems, etc. Banking faster and agile, what we discussed. Startups should be able to register online a business by themselves, not need a lawyer to do that.
Yeah.
And finally, there is innovation expenditure right now it's about less than 1%, that most of this innovation comes from the public. The private industry needs to come in. And I believe if we want to be a global startup hub, this R&D and innovation expenditure should go to up to 5% of the GDP, and this should come from the VC, the venture capital funds, that especially in Cyprus and in Europe and the Middle East, the venture capital funds needs to be investing in more risk projects. Currently, they're investing
Safe.
not safe.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Olga, like I think one of the big topic of any startup and any business is the relationship between creating talent and importing talent. And I know also you like to talk about importing companies or creating companies. So tell me a bit more about this friction. Where to import, where to create, and how are we doing specifically in Cyprus based on your experience?
Yeah, so I will talk based on our experience, right? Because we brought to Cyprus, several hundreds, I think around 800 people we brought from 20 different countries. And in order not to attract people to Cyprus, but retain them, these people in Cyprus, we really take care about their relocation. So we removed all their headaches in terms of their relocation. So we support with all the immigration processes, with their accommodation, so with to find the places into the schools to their kids or kindergartens. So we really trying to remove all the barriers to enter the new community. Then, again, we do a lot to create this community here in Cyprus.
Yeah.
For example, we have our social club that open the doors for family members and our employees during the day. So there are gym, there are different kind of activities for kids and for spouses as well. What is very, very important to mention that we support spouses' employment. So we ever try to find the employment for the spouses of our employees in the island, on the island. Or we also are more than welcome to hire families. So if we can find a place for example, for wives or husband, or even kids in our company. And we also try, you mentioned that the communities, they do not integrate between each other. So we try to integrate these communities at least within our company, right? Because we have different cultures. And we have the culture of office first. So we do not provide remote or hybrid, and all our employees, they come to office every day. So that's why we try to create the atmosphere of community and welcoming here in this office. So creating different start talks, and we also have a really beautiful terrace here. Every 2 weeks we have party on the rooftop. So we try to create this community. And we also try to invest to the local community. For example, maybe you heard about our Bro Academy.
Yeah.
So we are open our door, and we have lots of, by the way, students for Cypriots as well, who join this academy without any experience in IT, just to start their career in IT.
Yeah.
And we're also partnering with the schools here, supporting the schools and their digital education. And the last but not least is supporting, so we invest a lot in corporate social responsibility projects. So we support all the many charities here, especially who are trying to fight with the cancer, with leukemia. And we also invest in infrastructure projects. Like, for example, we renovated one of the tennis court and presented this to the Limesia. So something like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Olga. And Olga, obviously, you have an internal view from the company perspective. So I wanna play back the question to Frixos. How are we doing talent-wise, locally, born and raised, in Cyprus?
Yeah, I think on that front, we're not doing that well, unfortunately, because the educational side of things from very early on until, choosing a university career, or generally after university, choosing which direction you want to go, we still have this very monolithic mentality of let's become lawyers, accountants, the usual ones for the local population. And although the expats, I think in many ways are helping us realize that there is a lot of other opportunities in life to follow different paths, we still need a lot of effort to change the mindset of the locals in order to be more risk takers in a way, to follow this path of entrepreneurship. Doesn't mean that you have to make your own startup. You can join a startup, see what they're doing, see how they're working.
Would you say that culturally, Cyprus as a mentality towards employment favors safer
for sure
organizations?
As a culture, we are very risk averse, and this is something we need to change if we want to really become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So, we need to reward failure in a way, not to criticize failure, but learn from it. As Panis is saying, move fast, push ourselves, and you have to take risk. Without risk, there is no reward. Yeah,
it's interesting, and I feel like one of the big most positive sides of having this influx of expats is in a bit putting the spice behind the back to all the others. Because I've been in Limassol for about 8 years, and in the last 3, 4, 5 years, we had an explosion of events, communities, get-togethers, and things happening. And many times was someone that grew up out of Cyprus, that had an experience with this system, came into Cyprus, and it did not see these systems in place, and started to making it, and that inspired other locals as well.
Yeah, the knowledge, the skills, the talent is here, even if it's expat. So we just need to learn from them and grow with the community.
Frixos, how many startups, founders, and pitches do you see in your week?
Hundreds.
What is the most common misconception, or what is the most common thing that you see for Cypriot startups versus European? Because you also invest Europe-wise as well. So I'm trying to understand, is there something that local startups are missing or doing differently, or vice versa, in comparison with Europe?
Yeah, I think and this is not just in Cyprus, but generally, but exaggerated in Cyprus, is we have this small island mentality, right? We want to do something for Cyprus. But if you do something just for Cyprus, it's going to be very small. It's not going to be worth the funding or the investment from VC, angels, or anybody altogether. So we need to start thinking of ideas and innovations that are global from day one. It might be okay to test your MVP in Cyprus, get a few opinions on it, but you need to have a global strategy from day one.
Yeah, go on.
Can I pitch because I see double the number? It's my job to review startups and then write about them. In Cyprus, we don't communicate properly. We need better to pitch our project.
Storytelling, yeah?
Yeah, storytelling and what Yuri said.
Yeah.
We are not on that level that if you see a startup from Finland, let's say, pitching, etc.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned storytelling, and it's interesting that Yuri also mentioned storytelling, such an important component, because sometimes it becomes half the battle. You might have the best product in the world, but if you're not able to explain it in a way that the consumer connect to it, then you have basically nothing. And there is this very beautiful quote that says, if you're able to explain your customer problem better than they're able to explain to you, they think that you have the solution, even if you don't have it. It's about perception as well. Kyriakos, why will it be? What are the reasons to invest in Cyprus versus anywhere else? Because 99% of the stuff that Invest Cyprus does is to attract investment in Cyprus, right? So to bring money in here. What makes Cyprus attractive, and what is still iffy?
Yeah, so first, thank you for the question. I just want to say kudos to BrainRocket for actually going cross-border and establishing communities in other cities as well. I've seen a lot of, of your logos in Larnaca as well, bringing people together, so that's good. I think investing in Cyprus changed a lot for the last 10 years. First, and even the perception of what an investor is changed or is changing for the government. Before, we had these big family offices or family businesses that were relocating to Cyprus and setting up big projects. And for us, speaking as a government, it was this is what an investor is, and this excluded a lot of these more risky type of investors, like venture capital, for example. In Cyprus, we were discussing this with 33s the other day. that we don't have, we're not regulating GPLP structures for VCs, which is basically the standard for venture capital in the world. But the things that we didn't know about it, or we thought of an investor of something else. So this is changing. Now, why invest in Cyprus is because we're building critical mass of innovators and actual people that are building things. And I think it's pretty clear from the people that are here that people are building companies and products and services that have traction and they're targeting globally, not just in Cyprus. The sad thing is that not a lot of them are Cypriots. I mean, sad thing for Cypriots.
Yeah.
But for sure, we have a lot to learn. And Cyprus is a great place to come and build in your in an environment where you have everything is supporting, as we said, the weather, the easy lifestyle, and so on. But also you have this critical mass of people that you can learn from. Maybe find your co-founder, maybe find your next employee.
So would you say that it's attractive because it's growing, and if you dip into the growing phase currently, meaning that you will yield bigger returns on the long run, right? Mm-hmm. So it's less developed, perhaps more risky, but bigger potential for the future.
Exactly. So we are in general, now in the phase of AI, for example, most of the startups I think that are pitching are AI focused. We are experiencing this power law that for A60Z is speaking a lot about it, but we are in the beginning, so you can build a lot of startups easily, cheaper to live here and so on. So you can try a lot of different things, and you can catch the wave of progress through Cyprus because we've attracted a lot of capital from the European funds. We have infrastructure, we have people. So it's just about finding the opportunity and riding the wave while being in Cyprus.
Listen, buddy, AI is cool. But tell us about halloumi.
Oh. If you didn't know, there is actually a halloumi bubble. So, it's actually true.
Drop your AI stocks, place them in halloumi.
It's a halloumi bubble. So, there is more halloumi being produced than the availability of goat and sheep milk.
Wow.
So, it's actually a very big gap that Cyprus is trying to regulate now by decreasing the amount of goat and sheep milk required. But it's actually a gap that we don't have enough milk to supply people with halloumi globally.
Here's a startup idea.
Yeah, don't
invest in
steal.
goats. Get your tours ready.
Or if any synthetic biologist here, let's talk. Maybe we'll build something.
Panis, how far are we from our first born and raised organic Cypriot unicorn?
As I mentioned before, okay, we might not have something like Skype that started in the country and generated, but I believe at least in gaming and Forex, if you say that Forex is it's a tech industry, we have unicorns. We have XM, XNES, they probably started here, and they have a lot. We have Work Gaming, Nexters,
huge gaming outlets,
Outfit 7. Actually, Cyprus is in the gaming industry is considered one of the hottest right now places, and we're not doing a very good job on advertising that, I will say, and promoting that. But I'm not a guy that I believe that a unicorn. I want to see more sustainable startups, more startups that will grow to become tech companies. Invest in this island, etc. We need actually there is an interview of Sodiris Hagis about the AI tax for in future media, and Sodiris explains how we can make Cyprus as a testbed for AI, ethical AI, and use the EU AI Act. So I was expecting the next very fast, at least in the next 6 months, to see a sandbox on that. Coming out of Cyprus with regulation, with AI, and invite African startups, if they want access to Europe, to use Cyprus as a testbed, to see a lot of these companies to come here. And this is what we did also with the Forex industry. We did in the beginning, we had a lot of scammers, we had a lot of things, but slowly, SciSafe created a regulation, very good regulation that now it brings results. I mean, There is some things that we can do in different industries, but let's leave it because we don't have a lot.
I want to see if there are any questions in the room, because I have a few more questions. But is there anyone that wants to ask anything to the panelists? Only good question will get the book, huh?
Oh, come on, Marty.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Christina. The question is to Kyriakos and Invest Cyprus. I know that there are incentives for tech companies to come. Panis mentioned the IP box, but there are more. And one of them, for example, is how to help these tech companies that are based in Cyprus to go for an IPO and maybe go through the Cyprus Stock Exchange, help our stock exchange, and then maybe move on. So what do you do on that part as Invest Cyprus with the government and not siga siga, please?
I think Frixos is the right person to answer this question. But I will say that we, as Invest Cyprus, the biggest part of our job is the promotion. So we do a lot to communicate all the benefits that are already here. We also do some policy work that we try to get the industry to give feedback and suggest changes. But I think the industry can...
Yeah, it's a great question, and the stock market plays a pivotal role in every investor's journey, because at the end of the day, you are investing with the prospect of sometime making a return, and the current state of the stock market is obviously dysfunctional, but thankfully we are in the process of active discussions, and there is a lot of parties involved into this for the privatization of the stock market. And I want to be hopeful about it. And I think some stories that we are seeing developing across Europe, so if you haven't seen, Euronext has submitted a bid to buy the Athens Stock Exchange. So that could be an opportunity for us to go with that. So it's definitely something that needs to happen quickly, and needs support from the government in terms of policy to make it feasible, make it a good investment for somebody to buy it and not a liability. So fingers crossed.
As always, going private might fix it. Like 12 seconds, huh?
10 seconds. Good luck reviving the Cyprus Stock Exchange.
Good luck to Cyprus in general. Thank you very much for listening. Have a lovely day.